Right.
And the woman was pissed. What the fuck are you doing? I said, I'm crossing the street at the green light.
That was you? Oh,
That was me.
And she went home and was like, I almost ran over Whoopi Goldberg.
And I just thought,
you were in the right also.
Yeah.
but
correct.
people are,
Yeah,
it feels like they're not paying attention to what they do. Doesn't feel like they're paying attention to the driving. They're not paying attention to the walking down the street. People are walking down the street and they're just, I mean, what's happening?
Well, have you ever heard of workout rage? When you're like on a treadmill and you start to think really irrational, awful thoughts because you're in pain. So you hate everyone, like the way they breathe, the way they look.
I've never experienced that because I don't go on a treadmill.
I'm starting to have it off the treadmill,
Right.
where I'm like watching news and I'm all of a sudden like it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm actually serious. I'll look and I'll be like, I don't like that shirt. Like I just get like really angry while I'm watching
dopey stuff.
stupid stuff. And I never used to be this irritable.
So what do you think it is?
I think it's a worldwide nervous breakdown.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I certainly am hyper-vigilant, and I'm constantly, like Joy, reading the news. And my son was away in Japan on this wonderful scholar program, and he came back, and I said, did you miss me? He said, of course I missed you, but you sure do talk a lot about Trump. And it was really interesting to me, because that was the one thing that he noticed when he was away from me, that he didn't, hear all of that over and over and over.
We have to.
At home.
At home.
Yeah,
At home.
I know. Well, even my grandson, even Luca, said, if he's so bad, why'd they put him in there? He's 6,
Yeah.
For me, but we're in the middle of something very, very important right now. What's going on between Russia, and all these people.
Right.
It's like the country's being run by the Russian mob.
Yeah.
Well,
And I was thinking today, I'll just make this one little point.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of Watergate, what was going on during Watergate. So those of you who are too young, you should look into it, because it's very similar. All of the stonewalling, the denial, cancel the
similar?
The same thing. And in the movie All the President's Men, there's a scene where Woodward and Bernstein talked to Ben Bradley about what they were about to expose about Nixon and all the corruption that's going on. And Bradley says to them, Ben Bradley, who ran the Washington Post, he said, okay, you guys, you're pretty tired, but be careful, because, and I'll quote it, nothing's riding on this event except, the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of the press, and maybe the future of the country. Yeah. And I say that is what is happening now.
So do you think that that's part of the
why people
fatigue?
are having a nervous breakdown.
And that's why we're talking about it so much.
I mean, I think part of it for me is technology, that now with social media and with your phone and I'm plugged into news all the time. And I always think back to when my dad was younger. He used to read the morning paper, and then he'd watch, a half-hour news show at night, and that was it. Yeah. And the rest of the time, his brain was turned off to all of that stuff, no matter how good or bad it was. I feel like, and maybe it's my fault, my brain never shuts off. I'm always plugged in. That's part of the stress. Also, I think a lot of people are, the phone. A lot of people are disappointed. I think Democrats are disappointed because they felt they wanted Hillary to win. I think Republicans and a lot of conservatives are disappointed because they feel like Trump is tarnishing the conservative brand. I think people are angry and they're disappointed and they're frustrated, and that just comes out in anxiety that's just directed outward. I know for me, that's what I'm doing. I'm just directing it outward. I'm mad, and I don't know where to put it.
They're going to have to put Prozac in the water, is how I see it.
We remained divided after the election, and the main reason is we can all be watching the same thing happening right now and feel very differently. I'm watching it and seeing one thing. Then you watch a story about people that were Trump supporters, and they're like, he's doing a great job, I'm really psyched. The fact that the two realities are so far from each other is part of the problem.
My friend Richard Dreyfuss says that part of the problem also is that because we don't teach civics, people don't recognize the things that shouldn't be happening in our society because they're not things that they've had for the last 45 years taught in school.